G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for another build guide and showcase video. This is my dual-wielding Primal Strike Elementalist. This is an endgame variation of the leveling build that I've just finished a leveling series and a level 100 gearing series for. I will leave links below for all of that, as well as a Grimtools link for the two-handed version of this build. I will point out though that the dual-wielding version is strictly superior, though you will not be able to level using dual-wielding and Primal Strike. The two versions are fairly easy to swap back and forth between, with only the weapons and some devotions changing, so you can easily try them both if you wish and if you have the weapons. This is a good starter build, and I can happily recommend this as a first hardcore or even just a first character in general. While you won't be winning speed records in the Shattered Realm or Crucible, you will be able to complete and farm them both if you desire. With the intro done, let's get into the build. First up is going to be the items. We're using only a single set with this build, that being the Mythical Altos Tempest set, and we're using only 4 of the 5 pieces, opting to skip the weapon in favor of dual wielding. The set itself provides us with lightning damage, defensive and offensive ability, some regeneration, and +2 to all shaman skills. The chest provides us some skills, flat and % lightning damage, increased regeneration, and some flat life, as well as some resistances. The helmet has some physical resistances, % lightning damage, health, and crit damage to Primal Strike. The shoulders come with +2 to Primal Strike, some more physical resistance and regen, more offensive and defensive ability, and yet more % lightning damage. The final piece we're using is the amulet, which provides flat and % lightning damage, offensive and defensive ability, +2 to Primal Strike and Storm Surge, some cooldown reduction, and 8% maximum lightning resistances. Our other armor pieces include Cinder Touch, gloves which provide flat and % lightning damage, attack speed, skill points, and some offensive ability. They also allow us to summon the Cinder Wind pets, which do large amounts of lightning damage in spite of looking like they are fire tornadoes. The Mythical Storm Titan Treads provide good stats, some skill points we're using, and the Storm Titan proc, which can be active all the time as long as you're being hit, and grants a lot of flat lightning and electrocute damage. The Mythical Storm Shepherd is our belt, providing flat and % lightning damage, attack speed, offensive ability, and +1 to all shaman skills. We don't do any aether damage, so we don't really care about the conversion here. Rounding out our armor pieces is a pair of Dreeg Sect leg guards. These could quite happily be Soleil Sect if you prefer, or if you just happen to get the drop there first. I just used the first pair of Formidable Pants that dropped. Of Fortitude is good enough, though of Vitality, Readiness, Attack, the Eagle, and several other suffixes would have been fine. Next up, we're covering the weapons, as they are what enable us to dual wield with Primal Strike at all, since Primal Strike normally requires a two-handed weapon. The main hand weapon is the Stormrend Axe, and this is the item that allows us to dual wield and still use Primal Strike. This item is core to the build, and it straight up won't work without it. You could dual wield 2 of these axes, but I've chosen to use the Mythical Stormheart Dagger in the offhand. This weapon provides some much needed attack speed, as well as +1 to all skills in the Shaman tree, and a Chain Lightning proc. For our jewelry, we're using 2 Goddess rings, and ideally you want Tempest of Alacrity for both, but good luck farming several hundred of them to get that. Any rare lightning or elemental prefix will work with attack speed or offensive ability for the suffix. In a pinch, any kind of lightning damage will do. Our medal is the Mythical Korvax brand, and this is also a core item and required to make the build work. Without it, we are not able to equip a weapon in our offhand. This medal enables dual wielding for the build. It helps that it's also got really good stats for us, providing flat and % lightning damage, offensive ability, attack speed, and some skill points. Primal Strike is not a default attack replacer, so sadly we can't trigger the Korvax brand proc. Lastly, our relic is the Eye of the Storm for +1 to shaman skills, attack speed, a huge chunk of spirit, and the Stormcaller Aura, which provides flat and % lightning damage. Next up is the skill section. Starting with our main skill, we've got as many points as we could get into Primal Strike and both of its modifiers, with all but the last one, Storm Surge, being hard capped. More points here is more damage on our main attack, so maxing them out is ideal. Then we've got 1 point each in Wendigo Totem and Blood Pact for the healing and lifesteal. We've taken Stormcaller's Pact as our exclusive skill for large amounts of bonus lightning damage, critical damage, and some stun resistance. We've also taken 1 point in Wind Devil, maxed out Raging Tempest for the resistance reduction, and then 1 point in Maelstrom for added damage. Last up, we have the Mogdrogan's Pact line, which is hard or soft capped, as it provides a lot of really nice bonuses. Swapping over to Demolitionist, we've got the best circuit breaker in the game in Blast Shield. 10 points is a nice place to stop for this skill, but more is always better. That much flat absorption makes us incredibly tanky when this is active. We've also taken maximum points in Flame Touched and Temper for offensive and defensive ability, as well as large amounts of flat physical and fire damage, which we're converting to lightning. Thermite Mine is maxed out as well for resistance shredding, and last up, we've taken Vindictive Flame and Olzorn's Wrath for total speed, regeneration, flat physical damage, and the retaliation effect, which reduces enemy damage, knocks them down, and steals life. This is fast becoming one of my favorite skills. Next up, we'll cover the devotions. This page you see here is from grimtools.com and is a handy feature of the website. It allows you to make a timeline of how to get to the final devotion mapping. This mapping isn't particularly difficult to get to, but the slider is a nice feature and will be included in the link. In terms of procs, we've got all the expected offensive ones. We're taking the Widow, we're taking Rowan's Crown, and Altos for their resistance shredding. All three of them also providing damage. Defensively, we've got the Tortoise and Behemoth for a circuit breaker, as well as more regeneration and a healing proc. Most of the rest are taken for generic bonuses, but mostly the affinities they provide. I do want to highlight the Berserker though. We are using an axe, so 2 points here is a nice boost to our health, regeneration, and physical resistances. Next up is the Shattered Realm 80 test. I consider Shattered Realm 80 in hardcore to be the benchmark for if a build can be considered good or not. Ideally, you want to farm Shattered Realm 75 for items, but you've been watching Shattered Realm 75 for most of this video so far. I prefer to have a little bit of a safety net, so if a build can do SR 80, we're golden. This is a 5-minute run of Shattered Realm 80, sped up to double to save some time. Timestamps are in the description below if you want to skip ahead, and I'll see you on the other side. That was Shattered Realm 80, complete in just under 6 minutes with double Kaisan kills, as well as Valderan, Laria, Archmage Alexander, and Father Kaimon in the boss room. Like I said, SR80 is my benchmark for a good build, and this build passes. This build is an effective endgame evolution of one of the best starting characters I've ever made. It's going to farm Shattered Realm and Crucible very efficiently, and although you're probably not going to kill Celestials with it, I recommend it wholeheartedly for new and experienced players alike. If you've got this far into the video, then I'd just like to thank you for watching, and ask that you like the video if you've enjoyed it or found it helpful. Stay tuned for more Grim Dawn content, but that's going to be the end of this video, so thank you very much for watching, I'll see you in the next one, and bye for now.